And now for the evening edition of BBCB World News. Good evening and welcome to another edition of BBCB World News. Tonight's top stories are: the swine flu pandemic sweeps across the United States. 14 people have runny noses. The presidential puppy is helping set new policies. His first act, installing new fire hydrants on the White House lawn. Skittles may be linked to the spread of herpes. Peace was attained this week in the Middle East when Muslims, Christians and Jews came together to teach an atheist about tolerance. This was taught to the man by burning him alive till he screamed, "Oh God, please make it stop." At which point hostilities between the groups continued because they could not come to a consensus on which God the man was referring to. Now turn to Closeborn with a special report. Closeborn. Good evenings. It is very nice to see you this weekend, world. This weekend I read 5 stories total about minorities just like me. I was really shocked about how they is treated by people all across the United States. 5 stories I read is The House on Mango Street, The Man Who Was Almost a Man, The Lone Ranger and Tonto Fist Fight in Heaven, Desiree's Baby, and Battle Royale. 4 of the 5 stories dealt with minorities and bad economical situations. The 4 stories were The House on Mango Street, The Man Who Was Almost a Man, The Lone Ranger and Tonto, and Battle Royale. In these stories, the black, Hispanic, and maybe Indian peoples are oppressed by, as Eddie Griffin would say, the man. It is the white man that oppresses these people. There is no can have great paid jobs and live in very bad part of town. It is very bad. These minorities, they have very few choices. They either can be like me and live in a van, eat government cheese and do nothing about it, or they can go do something about it and make their life better. On the other hand, you have 5 fingers, and 3 of the 5 stories deal with suffering of minorities because of who they is, because they is black, or they is Hispanic, or they is Indian, you know, that kind of thing. In those stories, the characters suffer from discrimination at the hands of white peoples. Kind of like you and me, but more like you. Back in the day, white people not tolerate black or Hispanic or Native American peoples because they have different likes in musics or religions. One story in specific deal not only with suffering at hands of white people, but suffering at hands of character himself. In this story, The Lone Ranger and Tonto, yada yada, the character is suffer because he no can sleep because he has nightmares about killing white peoples. These inequalities between whites and minorities, either minorities have to rise up and enslave the white man, or white peoples, you must treat minorities like you treat other white peoples, especially in terms of pay. But with the economic situation the way it is, I don't think that will happen, and I think we will have to go to option number 1. Back to you, Walter. Thank you, Closeborn, for that wonderful report. We all feel the economic pinch these days, but I am glad to say that Closeborn will now be joining us as a full-time reporter. Hear that, Closeborn? You no longer have to work as an indentured servant. You will now work for peanuts. More news after this commercial break.